Hi everyone! It's time for another one of those magnificent and marvelous math lessons with Miss Antonia Bain. Let's get started. Today, our lesson is subtracting decimals with word problems. Let's take a look at our lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to subtract decimals with numbers up to the thousands place and solve word problems subtracting decimals. Let's do a quick review. In our last lesson, you learned how to subtract decimals up to the thousands place. When we have it set up like this, remember the first thing we must do is line up our decimals. Now that we have them lined up, we can begin to subtract. 0 from 2 leaves me with 2. 3 from 5 also leaves me with 2. Now I cannot take 7 from 4, so I go to this 7 and I rename that to a 6. Now my 4 becomes a 14 and I can subtract now. 7 from 14 leaves me with 7. 3 from 6 leaves me with 3. And 1 from 5 leaves me with 4. Don't forget to bring down my decimal point. So my answer is now 43 and 722 thousandths. Let's now put this into subtraction of word problems. But before we get into the word problems, we need to be able to identify those subtraction keywords. What are some of those keywords? Well, we have change, many more, take away, difference, remainder, decrease, and left. All of these words and some more signify that we have to subtract. Let's take a look at our first example. We're going to use the UPSC method to solve this word problem. What does that mean? We're going to understand, plan, solve, and then, yes, you remember, check. So, let's start by understanding the problem. When we understand the problem, we read the problem, identify keywords, and circle what we know. Let's read the problem together. Ashley had 2 bags of sugar in her kitchen. The green bag weighs 2 and 389 thousandths of a kilogram, and the blue bag weighs 2 and 300ths of a kilogram. What is the difference in weight? Once we would have read the problem, the next thing we have to do is identify the question. What are they asking us to do? Well, they want us to find what is the difference in weight. Now that we have identified that, we have to, yes, that's it, circle what we know. We know that there are 2 bags, but the important information is that one bag weighs 2 and 389 thousandths of a kilogram, and another bag weighs 2 and 300ths of a kilogram. Now that we've understood that, the next thing we have to do is, that's right, plan. There is a keyword in this word problem to help us figure out what it is that we have to do. Yes, that's the word difference. Difference means that we subtract. Now we move on to the solve stage. When we solve, we set up our problem. So we line up our decimal points, and now we can begin to subtract. 0 from 9 leaves 9. 3 from 8 leaves 5. 0 from 3 leaves 3, and 2 from 2 leaves 0. Don't forget to bring down our decimal point. So our answer is 359 thousandths. But we're not done yet. We need to check. When we check, we do the opposite operation. The opposite of subtraction is addition. Let's set up our addition sum. Now we can add. 9 plus 0 is 9. 5 plus 3 is 8. 3 plus 0 is 3. And 2 plus 0 is 2. Don't forget our decimal point. We know that our answer is correct because it brings us back to the initial number that we have begun with. So the difference in weight is 0 and 359 thousandths of a kilogram. Awesome! Let's try another one. Timothy bought a shirt for $26.34 and a pants for $22.10. He gave the cashier $50. How much change will he receive? Again, we're going to use the UPSC method. Understand, plan, solve, and check. Let's begin by understanding the problem. When we understand, we read the problem, identify the question, and circle what we know. Since we've already read our problem, let's go to identify the question in the problem. Where's the question? Do you see it? I know I do. Yes, that's right. If he gave the cashier $50, how much change will he receive? Good job, boys and girls. Now, let's circle what we know. We know that a shirt costs, that's correct, $26.34, and we know that a pants costs $22.10. Excellent job. And we also know that he gave the cashier $50. Wow, that's plenty money. But let's continue. Once we've understood the problem, we now need to plan. What word in the question gives you an idea of what it is that you should do? Do you see it? I know I do. Yes, the word change. Change means to subtract. Now that we know that, we need to solve. But before we begin solving, we must realize that this is a two-step problem. First, we need to add to find the total of the pants and shirt. Let's add, boys and girls. 0 plus 4 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 6 is 8. And 2 plus 2 is 4. Don't forget our decimal point. That means that the cost of the shirt and pants together is $48.44. We now need to take that and subtract it from $50. Yes, that's correct. Let's see. We cannot take 4 from 0, so we need to go all the way to the 5 and rename that to a 4. Our next 0 becomes a 9. The next 0 becomes a 9. Yes, you remember. And the last 0 becomes a 10. Good job. Now let's begin to subtract. 4 from 10 is 6. 4 from 9 is 5. 8 from 9 is 1. And 4 from 4 is 0. Let's not forget our decimal point. Good. So his change is $1.56. But we're still not done yet. We need to check. How do we check? We're going to add $48.44 plus $1.56 And if we make it back to our $50, then we are correct. Let's begin to add. 6 plus 4 is 10. We put our 0 in the hundredths place and we carry our 1 over to the tenths place. 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 1 is 10. So we put our 0 in the tenths place and we carry our 1 over to the units place. 8 plus 1 plus 1 is also 10. We put our 0 down in the units place and carry our 1 to the tens place. 4 plus 1 is 5. Cannot forget our decimal point. Yes, boys and girls, that brings us back to 50. So that means that he will receive $1.56 as his change. Try this one on your own, boys and girls. I know you can do it. I'll read it for you. It says, Luke ate a snack with 250 calories. If his chip was 105 4/10 calories, how many calories was the rest of his snack? Pause the video, solve, and when you are done, press play and I'll reveal the answer. If you are done, let's go through the problem. Again, we're using the understand, plan, solve, and check method. Let's begin by understanding the problem. When we understand the problem, we read it, underline the question, and circle what we know. Since we've already read the problem, let's go straight into identifying the question. Do you see it? Yes. The question is, how many calories was the rest of his snack? Good job. Now, let's circle what we know. We know that his entire snack is 250 calories and his chip is 105 4/10 calories. Now that we know that, we need to plan. Is there a keyword in here that tells you what to do? I see it. I hope you do. Yes, it's the word rest. Very good. Now we need to solve. And in solving our problem, the first thing we need to do is set it up. Once we've set up our problem, we begin to subtract. We cannot take 4 from 0, so where do you think we're going to go? That is correct. We're going by the 5 and renaming that to a 4. Good job. This 0 becomes a 9. That's correct. And our last 0 becomes a 10. Excellent job. Now we can begin to subtract. 4 from 10 is 6. 5 from 9 is 4. 0 from 4 is 4. And 1 from 2 is 1. Don't forget to bring down your decimal point. So our answer is 144 6/10. But we're not done yet. We need to check. And how do we check? We do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So let's add our answer with one other add-in. If we get back to 250, that means that our answer is correct. Let's begin adding. 4 plus 6 is 10. I place my 0 in the tenths place and I carry my 1 over to the units place. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is also 10. I put my 0 in the units place and I carry the 1 over to the tens place. 4 plus 1 is 5 and 1 plus 1 is 2. Good job. Don't forget our decimal point. And see there, boys and girls, we're back to our 250. That means that we were correct. And the rest of his snack was 105 44 and 6/10 calories. Awesome job, boys and girls! Let's do a quick recap. We know that there are numerous keywords that indicate that we must subtract. Some of these keywords are difference, take away, and decrease. We know that to solve word problems, we can use the UPSC method, and that method stands for understand, plan, solve, and check. This lesson was created by Miss Antonia Bain.